What's up, everybody? And welcome to episode 3 of the DMD cast. Joined by my two great co-hosts and Cuz Devontae, and then my boy Mason, who's having some issues right now, but he'll be up in a second. So today we just gonna run through a couple of things. We're gonna do a quick week 2 roundup of a couple of the games we want to highlight. Then we're going to jump into our week 3 predictions. We're going to give you a score update on our score tracker, our prediction tracker, and we're going to run through a couple of quick baseball topics, and then wherever else the conversation goes, it goes. So quick, just starting off, we obviously talked about in the last episode the Chargers-Chiefs game, so we're not going to hit on that anymore. But the game that I want to talk about, and the game that we agreed that we're going to talk about next, is we're going to start with the Dolphins and Ravens game, which I think had the most, playoff potential for playoff impact potential of any of the games last week. So obviously we do have a Ravens fan on the panel, so I do want to get your thoughts first, Mason, on what you saw, and
y'all want to get my thoughts first? Oh man, I mean. All right, let's get the negative out the way first. Defense in the fourth quarter gave up 28 points, which is unheard of.
What about offense in the fourth quarter?
Oh, I'm gonna get that. But the defense had a 21-point lead cushion, 21 point, and it just was an abomination, man. I will say though, to put it on a brighter side for us Ravens fans, Marlon Humphreys was not in on any of the 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. He was not. He was hurt. He is on the injury list for this week's game, but we assume it's nothing major. It was just maybe cramps or something. So that's a plus that he wasn't on the field, even though we lost. But out of all the trash talking everybody gives him, that man stepped up when he needed to step up. He threw for 400 plus yards, 6 touchdowns. And what I like most about what Tua's performance was, he was down 3 scores in a hostile environment in Baltimore and came back and did his thing. And I can't be mad at him for it. So, that's the downside of the Baltimore team, but I will give a plus. Offense looked pretty good. I mean, Lamar had a 300-yard day in the air, 100 plus yards rushing, 3 touchdowns passing. Yeah, 3 touchdowns passing, 1 rushing touchdown. Our rushing, we have no run game, none. Outside of Lamar, we have nothing. And I showed you guys this clip of Justice Hill. Oh my gosh, buddy!
Yo, that was a touchdown. He had two holes that were touchdowns, bro. He missed them both,
buddy. So, and the worst part about that Justice Hill one was that Justice Hill run that he ran outside was during the fourth quarter, and that was the drive that we went for it on 4th and 1, and Lamar got stuffed. That touchdown, changes the whole complexion of that fourth quarter of the game. It was just horrible to watch. I mean, but it's great to see that Lamar's throwing good passes. I mean, that's the plus. I will say that. I mean, outside of that, there is nothing, man. It was horrible to watch, bro. Like, 21-point lead. When you have a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter, I'm not saying let up or anything, but defense should want to go out there and finish the game. Defense should want to go out there and finish the game like, oh, offense, y'all did y'all thing. Now we're going to go out there and we're going to finish. Offense in the fourth quarter, we had, I think, 4 drives, 3 or 4 drives, I'm not mistaken. We had a field goal to go up with 2 minutes left. We had the 4th and 1 turnover on downs, and I believe we punted maybe twice, but I think we only had 3 possessions. So we punted once or twice. Either way, I'm just very disappointed in our defense. And Baltimore is known for defense. So the fact that we did that is just unfathomed. But we did sign JPP. I don't know how great of a help that's going to be, but hey, it's somebody, because we had no pass rush at all. And I'm not. I can't get into it more because it's over and done with. It's week 2. I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna whine or cry about it. Hopefully, I would like to see him again in the postseason.
No, you don't.
We just gotta get. No, I do because bro. Yeah. Tyreek Hill, every time we play Tyreek Hill, I don't care if it's on the Chiefs or the Dolphins, he has a 100+ yard game and at least 1 or 2 touchdowns. And Jalen Waddle is the same way. We cannot stop either one of them. And it is ridiculous.
So I want to see him again.
That's speed because kills, I want exactly speed kills, but I think we can beat them. I know we can beat them, but we have to go out there and play, and we got to go out there and show it because this is just an unbelievable loss, terrible heartbreaker. But you know what? I'm gonna give all the credit to Tua and the Dolphins because they deserved it.
I couldn't wait to get to this.
Yep, go ahead. I'm good.
Number 1 Ravens hater right here, baby, and I'm proud to see.
Yes, he definitely is. He definitely is.
Like nah, y'all defense was bad, but I mean everybody knows that. Y'all didn't score. Y'all didn't give them any help in the fourth quarter. So
no.
Most of the blame goes towards the defense, but some of the blame was the offense too because y'all scored 3 points in the fourth quarter.
Well, you know what blows my mind though is I hear people saying that we lost because of Harbaugh. Harbaugh going for it on 4th and 1 when we were in field goal range. Now I get it.
That's one play.
Thank you.
That field goal would have did anything. Y'all still would have lost.
Thank you. Exactly my point. Like. It was a 4th and 1. Like if the Dallas Cowboys have a 4th and 1, y'all not going for it in the fourth quarter?
Got to.
Thank you.
No, y'all should everybody can 3 points. Like
no, I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah, no, it's not like they were down, like 10 or 14 when you kind of you don't expect anything, but they were down 21. At some point, you got to see that they're getting momentum. You got to put something on the board. So
and that's why I think we went for it on the 4th and 1 because they were getting momentum. And you want to stall it.
Mostly to the defense, but it also goes to the offense. That's all. Well, and I also want to say Tua did ball out. I would have given the performance of the week, definitely. Because 476 touchdowns is not hard. He was a touchdown off a time, single game touchdown record. So he was very impressive to me.
Who had their other touchdown? I know Hill had 2. Gesicki had 1.
Waddle had 2.
Waddle had 2. Who had the last one? That's what only one I can't figure out.
I have it right here.
The other tight end, number 82, I believe, scored.
I just can't remember who it was that scored.
River. Craft.
Bro, you know what blows my mind about this game? The Ravens either were tied or had the lead for 59 minutes and 46 seconds.
Yeah, that's pretty
of a 60, bro. We started out with Devin Duvernay on 103 to the house. We've had the lead literally from the start of the first play of the game.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Okay. Is that you done, Kurt?
Yeah.
Is that what you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, y'all gotta get me out of this conversation. Go ahead, Quan.
I think this is one of the more devastating losses that the Ravens have had in quite a long time. And I believe it was a total system failure. I don't put all the blame on the offense. I don't put all the blame on the defense. I don't put all the blame on John Harbaugh. I think it's a total system failure. The Ravens passing game so far this season has been better than I expected. And Lamar Jackson has been throwing the ball better than I expected. 100%.
Yes.
Have to give him props. But like you said, Lamar Jackson had 119 of the 155 yards y'all rushed for in that game.
79 came from one run.
Exactly.
Yes, 79 was on one run.
That's a problem. Also, the Ravens went 3 for 10 on third down. The Dolphins went 7 for 11.
Yep.
So extending drives was an issue for you guys. On fourth down, 1 for 3. The Dolphins went 2 over 2, right? So they're able to extend drives. This is also another issue that I have with this team so far, right? Lamar Jackson makes all these incredible – and I'm not going to blame this completely on Lamar because the defense played a role in this too. But what you see from a lot of veteran quarterbacks, and at this point, Lamar Jackson is a veteran quarterback. He's still a young quarterback, but he's a veteran quarterback. Look, this is like, what, 4th season?
No.
4th season. No, this is his 5th.
Yep.
5th year.
Yeah, I knew it was around like 4 or 5, but this is 4th or 5th season, right?
Yeah.
A player of his caliber and MVP winner should be able to work the clock, burn the clock down, make completions, get first downs, and get out of there with the W, especially when his defense put him in the position to have a 20-point lead. That's why I don't blame people are saying, oh, the defense got carved up. They were on the field the whole fourth quarter.
Yep.
Right.
They were on the field the entire fourth quarter. You can't keep asking and sending your defense out there like, okay, go make a stop. At some point, the offense has to do something to allow them to make a stop.
Yep.
Right.
The run game is so key to this team. And it's so weird because the Ravens have been like a top 5 rushing attack
for years.
Since Lamar.
Yeah, since Lamar's gotten there. They've been like a top 5 rushing attack pretty much every year. So it's very weird to see you guys struggle in scheming to get. Now I know Justice Hill was one example where it looked really bad, but still, like throughout the game, you guys had a lot of trouble getting consistent like 4 to 5 yard runs from your running backs. It's good that Lamar Jackson is one of the most electric players with the football in the NFL. I have my issues with Lamar, but that is undebatable. He's one of the most electric players with the ball in his hands in the NFL. But you cannot ask him to sustain that over 17 games. He's going to get hurt.
Right. Now, with my thing with the running backs is, I think ever since JK and Gus got hurt, I feel like they're trying to find that right person to carry the load for him instead of having – because we're going – last game, Justice Hill had 4 carries or 3 carries.
Right.
Then you have Kenyon Drink with carry, and then you have Mike Davis with carries. We need one solid back with, we need one solid back that's reliable enough to get you yardage instead of, because I feel like when they're switching up running backs, even if it's switching drives, like, oh, Kenyon Drake this drive, Mike Davis this drive, Justice Hill this drive, they need to have a consistent basis with one running back. And even when JK and Gus was there, they still had a good chemistry. Lamar has no chemistry with any of the 3 running backs at all in this rotation.
Right.
And I think that's what's really hurting our team. But I heard this on the radio, and I want to tell you guys about this. So in Lamar's career from 2018 to 2021, this is Lamar's career dropbacks under center. So from 2018 to 2021, Lamar had 35 dropbacks under center. And last season, he dropped back only 8 times. So, and now in 2022, he's already dropped back 8 times under center. And he's 7 for 7 with 75 yards and 1 touchdown with one QB scramble.
So
what I'm saying is, yes, correct. I'm not saying Lamar needs to be put under center 25 times a game.
Right.
5 to 10 times a game where we can mix up the formation.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Because playing pistol and playing gun every play. Yes. This isn't Madden where, you know what I'm saying, we can do some funky plays. No, you have to mix it up, because if Lamar and 35 times in 4 years went under center, 35 times under, and this is just dropbacks. This isn't handing the ball off, just dropback.
Right.
And I think I don't have the exact thing because I didn't write it down fast enough, but I think they said that he dropped back on those 35 times. 27 of those 35s were play action passes. So we can't go under center and do play action passes if we're not handing the ball off, or if we're not having regular passes under center. It's just not going to work.
Right.
Since that's a thing, though, do you maybe think it's something we don't see? Like, it's a reason he's not dropping back under center a lot. He probably can't.
I do think there's a reason. I do.
I'm pretty sure if that's the case, like 8 times in a year is crazy to only drop back 8 times in a season from under center.
Yes.
He probably can't do it. Maybe he reads better from the shotgun. Maybe he gets the ball faster and goes through his reads faster. Honestly, he might not be able to do it.
I think what it is, I'm not sure how many times he dropped back before the Dolphins game, but I think after that, all that blitz, that zero coverage came at him. I think
in the Dolphins game last year.
Yes. I don't think Lamar's scared. I think the offensive coordinator and the offense doesn't want to put him in that situation.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they probably see that because they don't. Yeah. You can't see it in the game if they do it. If they only do it that many times. I'm saying we don't watch their practices. The coaches do.
Maybe, okay. Yes. Okay, I get you saying.
That's why they don't do it in games, because they know it's not his strength.
Well, I get that. If you don't want to drop back Lamar under center, we at least have to hand the ball off more under center. We can't just 95% of our games cannot be in
I know if I was a defensive coordinator watching film and be like, they're under center, it's a run. I'm gonna put a run in that situation.
Right.
So that becomes
we have to mix it up.
I'm saying if you become like what you just said, if you gotta hand the ball off in the center. Right. As a good defensive corner, they're going to pick up on that. They're under center. They're going to run the ball. So
right.
It's kind of complicated. If that is the case, that Lamar is kind of making the play calling one dimensional. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying if it's the case.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Like he doesn't have. I'm not saying if say in a perfect world he's under center 10 times a game. Out of those 10 times, if he hands the ball off 4 to 5 times, where when he's under center, you're like, oh man, we don't know if he's gonna hand the ball off. We don't know if he's gonna bootleg it. We don't know if he's gonna just directional pass it like a slant. So I want to get the defense thinking, because if he's under center and he just hands the ball off every time, obviously it's a run. And the other thing I think that's a killer for the Ravens offense, our rookie tight end and Likely, he is terrible in blocking. So it's like when he's on the field, I feel like that is a dead giveaway. Like, it's a pass. And if you do run it with him, he has to be a part of the double team, which I feel like that defeats the purpose, because we have one of the best blocking tight ends on our team anyway, and Nick Boyle. But Likely is a better pass catcher than Nick Boyle. So it's like we have to find the middle mark where are we gonna have is Likely gonna be able to become a good enough blocker where he can play in the game, and not only in run but in passing situations? Or can we get Nick Boyle to be in more passing pass plays and be able to give him the ball more? We have to meet a middle ground.
So we focused a lot on the Ravens, and I do agree with what you're saying as far as you have to give the defense more looks with Lamar under center, right? So that way in the playoffs, defensive coordinators can't just be like, oh, they're under center, it's automatically a run. If you establish those things throughout the regular season where you have Lamar in under center more and you're running like bootlegs off of it, or you're running jet sweeps off of it, or whatever, because you can do a lot with Lamar off of that stuff, right? You're able to throw defensive coordinators off the off that tell of, okay, he's under center, we're running the ball, right? So I want to switch over now, because we talked a lot about the Ravens.
Yeah, we did.
The Dolphins side of this. Tua was terrific down the stretch. Like, he was just terrific. Yes. And I know Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are burners, right? And that's really what it was. It was a lot of yak yards. But Tua was still throwing a lot of impressive passes. I am still not sold on this Dolphins team. There's something missing that I'm not sold on just yet.
I like the team. I feel like once they do a little bit more growing and chemistry together, they'll be fine. But like those first 3 quarters, well, what are they? Ravens had 28.
We lost. We put up 34, I believe. I believe it was like 40. Oh my, 38. It was 41 or 42, 38.
Y'all had 45 in the first 3 quarters.
And
right.
I think
the Ravens were doing defense, whatever.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins' defense is better than that. I think once they come together and play better, get some more minutes together, they'll be fine.
So what is your ceiling for this Dolphins team currently?
I feel like they could be a 6 seed.
I'm not. That's the thing though. I'm not buying them as a contender. Like, they're not beating the Chiefs.
No, I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders.
They're not beating the Chargers. They're definitely a first round exit. I just think that they can make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they're playoff potential. Okay. Yes, I agree with that.
I can agree with that. Yeah. All right, so Dolphins Ravens, lot to unpack there. Let's go ahead and jump into our next game that we want to talk about. Very violent game with a lot of things to unpack here. Buccaneers Saints. Just want to say I was the only one here predicted that the Bucs will win.
Hey. I picked the Bucs too, buddy.
Oh, worry. Tom Brady finally defeats the Saints for the first time? The Saints have won the last 7 games against the Buccaneers. Yes. It was like 6 or 7 games, which is crazy.
Brady was 0-4 before Sunday.
Obviously,
in the regular season.
Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore's yearly beef, which exploded once again.
Really hates him, bro. That's so
like they really don't like
each other, bro.
I'll say this: I think the Bucs and the Saints have two of the top 5 defenses in the NFL.
I agree with that one.
I think both of them. That Buccaneers, I told Devontae, this Buccaneers defense, and I might have said it on the podcast actually. This Buccaneers defense is better than the one they won the Super Bowl with.
Yeah, you did say that.
It's very
100%,
very dominant.
The more and more I watch this defense go out there, and I know the Saints don't have like some crazy overpowered, offense. Jameis Winston is Jameis Winston, and he did what Jameis Winston does. He threw interceptions. But that Buccaneers defense, 10 points this week, 3 points last week versus us. I think they're going to be the number one scoring defense in the NFL. I think teams are going to have a very hard time because they're stout on the defensive line. They're stout at the linebacker position. And they're very good in the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you got Todd Bowles as your defensive coordinator. So,
right.
I mean, this Buccaneers team still to me is my favorites now to come out the NFC.
Yes.
The more and more I watch them, I think they're going to take this division again. It was a slow, grinded out game. Fournette had trouble running the ball. Tom early on had trouble. Well,
Tom's not right. Tom's not right.
Yeah, Tom's not.
Yeah,
he's not right. And I think it's attributed to all that time that he took off.
Yes.
He wasn't practicing.
I don't think it's that, but plus it's the reason he took off. I think that's in his head throughout the games.
Right. But I really don't have much to say about this game. It went exactly. I mean, the whole Mike Evans, Marshawn Lattimore thing. Look, they both got thrown out. It is what it is. They got into a fight. You can't fight on the field. You just can't do that. Like you just can't do that.
Especially
what happened though?
So Brady has said something to Marshawn.
Yeah, I heard it was something with Brady. I know that, but
Brady
I didn't know what happened.
Evans suspended, but Brady said something to Marshawn.
Yeah,
and went on to say something to the ref. Marshawn said something back to Brady. Leonard pushed Marshawn. Marshawn pushed Leonard back. Mike Evans across the field, ready to go on the sideline. He turns around. He sees, it's Marshawn. He sprints across the field and goes to push him. And that's when everything started going on.
Right. So yeah, I seen what happened. I just didn't know well, I heard something about Tom Brady, but that's what I didn't see. I didn't see what happened between Tom and Marshawn, but I heard it was between them two.
Yeah.
And Mike, I heard Mike Evans told the ref, like, it's Tom Brady. What did you want me to do? So that's why I was confused on what happened.
Anybody. Like he hates.
We know.
Yeah,
they
really don't like each other. Like they actually just don't like each other. So yeah, I agree with the suspension for Mike. I believe did Marshawn get suspended as well? I believe you have to.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think both of them should be suspended personally because Marshawn.
That's a typical football scuffle. What Mike Evans did, it was unnecessary. Plus, it was dangerous because
true. Yeah.
And Marshawn was really unaware, so he really could have snapped his neck or whatever. That type of situation. So I don't think Marshawn should have been suspended. It was a typical football scuffle. It's just Mike Evans took it to the next level.
True. Right. Y'all got anything else for this game?
Nah.
Game I really want to talk to. In the next game on our little countdown, I guess, is the Washington Commanders against the Detroit Lions. And my Detroit Lions continue to show.
He's claiming them now. Claiming them.
Why they're going to be in every single game that they play this season.
Yes.
36 points this game. They put up, 35 against
Philly
35
last week against the Eagles. Yeah.
DeAndre Swift continues to establish himself and slowly move himself up the rankings of one of the premier backs in the NFL. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is doing the same thing at the wide receiver position.
St. Brown is definitely he's definitely edging his name out there.
So good.
Right. Definitely. The Lions simply have the the best offensive line in the NFL. It is what it is. If you watch their games,
so too.
In the rush and in the pass, they have the best offensive line in the NFL. And I am so excited next year to see Jameson Williams with Amon-Ra St. Brown and DeAndre Swift and TJ Hockenson.
Because he's been silent, but he's still there.
Right. So if you're a Lions fan, I mean, you have to be excited. And this showed at the end of last season because the Lions were in games. The last 6 to 8 games of the season, they were in their games.
I don't remember them getting blown out last year.
No, I don't think they really did.
Against
they might
have
won. I was ready to say 1 or 2 games maybe, but nothing crazy.
Right.
But hey, Jared Goff, it does not look as bad as I thought he would.
But they still need a better.
Of course. But he just doesn't look terrible.
Their quarterback is in a few pieces on defense away from really competing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If they get Bryce Young, man, they're not. They're not. But if they were to get Bryce Young, he's already got that.
He's got that NFL readiness play.
And he's got that relationship with Jameson. He's got the relationship with Jameson Williams. So
Bryce Love with DeAndre Swift, that would be serious.
And then also, I mean, Aiden Hutchinson, he looks. I said this was going to happen.
Yeah,
the Philly game. Three. I think he had 3.5. I think he was credited with 3.5. 3.5. He had 3 before halftime.
Yeah.
But
he had the safety, didn't he?
Right. The Philly game was going to be a tougher game on him because you're going up against such an experienced offensive line in Philadelphia, right? They've been playing together for a while, and they're very good. Like Philly always usually has a very good offensive line. But the Commanders don't have the same low-wall offensive line that the Eagles do. And you saw it. Hutchinson was simply doing what he's always done when he was at the University of Michigan. I mean, when he was at the University of Michigan. High motor. He's not the quickest guy off the ball, but he competes, and he's relentless. And he showed that. And I think he's going to run away with the Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And then if we flip it on the Commanders side, they couldn't score for most of the game.
Yeah,
they couldn't score at all. And if the Lions receivers just stopped dropping passes early on in the game would have been way more out of hand than it was.
Yeah.
I think the Commanders are kind of in the same boat as the Lions, not to cut you off, Quan. I think they're in the same boat though, where like they're a quarterback away.
Yeah,
from being not being Super Bowl contenders, from being like playoff contention.
In their defense, like the Lions' defense was bad, but nobody predicted the Commanders' defense to be this bad.
If you think about it, 2 years ago, the Commanders were an elite defense. Like 2 years ago, Chase Young, Montez Sweat,
but they still got the same names, which makes no sense.
Right.
Their secondary might not be as good, but they still have the same people. Yeah, they are hurt. Yeah.
I think you're looking at two teams going two opposite ways. I think the Lions are on the ascending. They're ascending right now. They're gaining, and then they're gaining every week that they're in games against teams that are predicted to be better than them. They're gaining confidence. Like they could have won that Philly game last week. If they make that stop on Miles Sanders, I think it was on a 3rd down where he broke loose. I believe they get the ball back. They win that game.
They had all the momentum.
Right. So the Lions are a couple plays from being 2-0 right now against the Commanders and the Eagles. And the Eagles look like one of the most impressive teams in the NFL right now.
Top 5.
After what they just did to the Vikings. So if you're a Lions fan, like I said, you should be absolutely ecstatic. Your Dan Campbell Coach of the Year pick is not looking as bad.
You know what I'll tell you? I told you, man. I told you.
I think they need to at least win 9 teams.
Yeah, they got to win.
You can't say 9 or 10 games aren't out the question though. You can't say it's not out the question.
I will say it's not completely out the question how they're looking right now. I am hesitant because these are the Lions, they always suck, so you know what I'm saying, like I am hesitant to jump the gun too much. But if you're a Lions fan, you should be ecstatic. If you're a Commanders fan, I mean, you got the Carson Wentz experience. He made a couple of amazing throws because he has insane talent when he wants to use it, and then he also made a couple of just Carson Wentz throws where you're just like, what are you actually doing?
Definition of mid.
Right.
Basically, if you're a Commanders fan, congrats, y'all got a new team name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. Yep, that's all you can look forward to right now.
Been. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's enough on that game. So we'll go ahead and just move along to our next game. And one of the best games of the weekend, probably the best game of the weekend, and a game that I totally got wrong. This Cardinals-Raiders game, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say on the Raiders. I have no idea. I had no idea what to say on the Raiders. They've to me been one of the more disappointing teams in the NFL so far.
Yeah, they're definitely disappointing.
And they're in the division. They're in a division where they can't afford to be disappointed. They can't. You can't miss games, especially when you have the Broncos in another game who almost lost to another team that I really like, the Texans.
Yeah, the Broncos are
right, but I mean, Kyler Murray was the Cardinals didn't look like they could score for 3 quarters.
The same thing as the Miami game, the exact same situation. Right. 3 quarters were oblivious.
Right, and then I don't know what Derek Carr. I really like Derek Carr.
I do too.
There are moments where Derek Carr looks like a clear-cut top 10 quarterback in this league. But for the people who say that Derek Carr isn't, these are the moments that they tend to get right.
Right.
How are you that veteran? He's been in the league longer than Lamar Jackson has.
Yes.
You can't get a 6-minute drive where you burn clock.
Mm-hmm.
7-minute drive where you burn clock. You got Devontae Adams. You got Josh Jacobs in the backfield. You got Hunter Renfrow. You have playmakers on Darren Waller's there. You have playmakers. And that Cardinals defense is not some insane defense that we saw Mahomes destroy. And I know Derek Carr's not Mahomes, right? But we just saw them. That secondary is weak. They have a pretty weak secondary. And for you not to do anything in the second half, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I don't blame the Raiders defense like that. There was a couple of unfortunate calls too, like the holding call at the end on Zach Ertz at the end of the fourth quarter. I don't know. I don't really think it's. I don't know, man. I don't know if that call was. It was a little ticky-tacky, but the Raiders should have never put themselves in that position.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams didn't have that good of a game. I know he had 4 touchdowns, but he only had a couple receptions, right? Like I don't even think he had 5, maybe like 3. I don't think it was that many.
Okay.
I don't. Maybe I was already saying.
He had.
Devontae had 2 receptions for 12 yards.
Thank you. I didn't. Yeah, I was already saying. I think it was around 3. That's what I thought.
And
one was a touchdown.
The other,
one was a touchdown.
1-yard touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah. You got it. I mean that's not Derek Carr's fault. You got to. Yeah, because Hollins was their leading. No, I'm sorry. Renfrow had their most receptions with 7. You got to get Adams involved more, and it's not like he received that much attention when you have Renfrow and Waller on the team. So I highly doubt he's getting double teamed every play. You got to get him involved.
With the Raiders, though, the Raiders are literally plays away from being 2-0 right now.
Yes.
Plays.
True. That is definitely true, just like the Bengals.
Yes.
And I mean, we got to talk about Kyler Murray. I mean, he was just spectacular in that fourth quarter.
Oh, my gosh. That conversion.
Right. That is the definition of a special player taking over a game. Like, he just took that game over. He just took it over. The Raiders had no idea how to contain him. They didn't know if they should rush him, blitz him. Nothing was working. He just picked them apart. Without DeAndre Hopkins, that is an extremely impressive win.
And
extremely impressive win. Right. Byron Murphy, you got to – I mean, we're talking about, Devontae Adams, but you got to give Byron Murphy credit. Like, he kind of locked him up. Like, and Byron Murphy's a very good corner.
Yeah.
He kind of locked Devontae Adams up this week. I mean, it happens. Like, Devontae just lost the battle this week. But I think Derek Carr, I'm going to put it on the quarterback because you're a veteran quarterback. You have the talent around you. You have to put a team where your defense gives you a 16-point lead away. You have to do it. And then in overtime, I mean, fumbles happen in the NFL. Like, I'm not going to kill Hunter Renfrow for fumbling the ball. Obviously, you can't do that, right? You can't just fumble. but I'm not gonna kill him for a fumble. And I believe Byron Murphy dropped the ball early. I think he did.
I truly agree with you on that one. I think he dropped it too.
I think he dropped it early. So, big ups, big props to the Cardinals. Still don't think they're doing anything this season, and I'm massively disappointed in the Raiders right now.
Yeah.
They're not looking like the team that I thought they were, and they have the collection of talent to where they could be one of the more elite teams in the NFL, and they just haven't looked up to that. And then the game that I did get correct again was was obviously my Dallas Cowboys, Devontae's Dallas Cowboys versus Cincinnati Bengals. This game played out pretty much how I thought it would. Micah Parsons was dominant.
The Bengals have some serious problems. Serious. Two games of the season.
Serious but fixable.
I don't know.
That O line is not fixable.
That offensive line is not fixable, man.
They went out and got 3 new linemen, and they've given up 13 sacks in 2 games. Oh, was it 4? My bad. Even worse. 4 new linemen, and Joe Burrow has gotten sacked 13 times in 2 games. That is undespicable.
And it's starting to show itself not only is Burrow getting hit a problem, right? Obviously, it's a big problem. You don't want your franchise star quarterback getting hit. But it's also starting to affect Joe Burrow's ability to throw passes. Yep. Like, you can see it. He doesn't hit the clock in his head is sped up to like a way quicker degree than it would be if he was with an offensive line. Every quarterback has a clock in their head that says, hey, I have this amount of time to get this pass off. Joe Burrow's is the fastest in the league right now. Because every play is getting hit.
Do you think he has like the flashbacks from his rookie season where he again had no O-line and he got smacked and tore his ACL?
No, he's not. He don't strike me as that type of player.
Yeah, me either. Man, I think he's a very mentally tough player. But I mean, he's a human. I don't want to get hit by Micah Parsons and Dorrance Armstrong and Sam Williams all game. TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Devin Bush. Like, I don't want to get hit by these elite pass rushers, right? Or these pass rushers in general. And he's getting hit. And I was watching Shannon Sharpe. I think it was Undisputed. And Shannon Sharpe is something I really agree with. And it's not something that, people want to hear. But the Cincinnati Bengals are going to do exactly what the Colts did.
Yeah.
They're going to turn Joe Burrow into Andrew Luck.
Yep.
To where they're going to have a quarterback with amazing ability, because Burrow does. He's a dog. Like, he's just a dog. But he's going to get hit so much and so often. He's not going to want to do this no more.
Yep.
Right. Or he's either that or he's going to leave. Like, it's one or the other. Either he's going to leave Cincinnati and go to a team that has a legitimate offensive line that he can thrive behind, or he's going to retire, or he's going to get beat into the ground.
Yep.
But Micah Parsons right now is the defensive player of the year. Obviously, it's only week 2.
Yeah.
Week 3.
Look, I told you that was my prediction. I told you that man is a monster.
We'll get to that.
I feel like I reserve the right.
We'll get to
that. But yeah, the Bengals right now, I think it's a mess. I truly believe that offensive line is a mess, and I hear a lot. Offensive lines take time to gel. Correct, but they don't look this bad to start.
No.
Like, these guys, an offensive lineman still has the job to block the person in front of them, and Micah Parsons is getting free releases. He's beating double teams. The whole Cowboys defensive line was ripping through double teams. Dorrance Armstrong had a very good game. Sam Williams had a very good game. D'Lo had a very good game. And the defense – and
everybody had a good game.
Right. And Trayvon Diggs. And I just want to get this out here, right? It's so funny to me how in the media, Trayvon Diggs right now, if you go on social media, if you go on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, right? It's so funny to me how little coverage there is of the fact that Trayvon Diggs locked up Jamar Chase and locked up T. Higgins, because most of people are gonna be like, "Oh, well, T. Higgins caught balls." A lot of those balls were in zone, and a lot of those were over the middle. Even Ja'Marr Chase said it after the game. We played a lot of cover 2, which forced him to throw the ball over the middle. Right? Trayvon made the 2 biggest plays in the game. He had people are talking about the third down tackle. He made the second down tackle as well. Like he played a fantastic game, and I don't think people are giving him the props that he deserves. Because if Ja'Marr Chase had went off for, let's say, 10 receptions for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, the first thing you would have seen when you got on Twitter or on any of these talk shows, like First Things First, Undisputed, was Ja'Marr Chase burns Trayvon Diggs as the Cowboys lose. That's the first thing you would have heard. But no one, it's all quiet right now when Trayvon locks down Ja'Marr. Oh, Joe Burrow doesn't have time. Well, Joe Burrow didn't have time last week against the Steelers, and Ja'Marr Chase still went for 100-plus yards. He didn't have a lot of time last season as he was the most sacked quarterback in the regular season. Ja'Marr Chase still went for, 1,100, 1,200 yards, some more than that.
Right.
So I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear this excuse from people. And I'm not saying, like, obviously you guys don't think like that. But just the vast media, let's keep it consistent. When a guy who is a star quarterback in this league, Trayvon Diggs, does what he's supposed to do against a number 1 guy who a lot of people are calling the best wide receiver in the NFL, he deserves his flowers. And he didn't get him. So I'm going to give it to him. He locked him up. The same thing he did to Justin Jefferson, locked him up. The same thing he did to Mike Evans, locked him up. The same thing he did to Terry McLaurin, locked him up.
Mike Evans twice.
So what, cuz?
Mike Evans twice in the last 2.
Right. So all the guys that you guys say, you know what I'm saying, are better than him. And we've seen Mike Evans just torch A.J. Terrell, a guy that I've heard people say is better than Trayvon Diggs. Come on, man. Stop it.
Saw Mike Thomas torch A.J. Terrell week 1, too.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's what I meant to say, Mike Thomas. Just stop. Just stop it, man. Just stop it. Cooper Rush played he had 2 very good drives. Yeah. The first drive of the game was great. He has, like, real chemistry with Noah Brown. Like, that's, like, a real thing.
And you want to know why? It's because they both play on a practice team.
Right, so they're throwing him the ball all the time.
He was very out of body.
And, yeah, it was a good Cowboy. It was a good win for the Cowboys. It was a great win for the Cowboys. And they go into
very important.
Super important because our next game, which we'll get into later on, is against the Giants on Monday night, which is a totally winnable game in my eyes. But we'll talk about that later. You got anything else on this game, Mace?
No, I'm good. No, we had it.
Cool. And we'll move on to the last game of week 2, which was obviously the last game of week 2. The Vikings and the Eagles. I know you had a lot to say about Kirk Cousins.
This shocked me, man. I didn't think it was gonna be this bad. I thought the Vikings were gonna win off of a walk-off field goal, personally. I thought it was gonna be like 28-31 walk-off field goal. That was not even close. Not even close. Kirk Cousins might be the worst Monday night quarterback I've ever seen.
Kirk Cousins.
He's like 2-11 on Monday night. I think I read today. 2-11.
Kirk's.
Bro, it's primetime Kirk, man. Come on now.
Primetime Kirk, yeah, that's the best name for him. But they didn't stick to the run, which, if you know, like, his history on unfortunately under primetime lights and Monday night games, if Kirk Cousins' history is not that great, you have a top 5 running back. Why not feed him the? Well, you know what I'm saying. Like, the people are going to debate it no matter what. But he's easily top 5. Everybody should agree with that. Top 5 running back. Why not feed him the ball? I mean, come on. It's not that hard. It's not.
The Eagles are very good usually against the run. So I could see that. But I do agree with you. There has to be more balance.
Right.
In that Vikings offense. Because Kirk is one of the best quarterbacks off play action.
Yes. Exactly my point. Last year he was the number 1 quarterback off of play action. Number 1. Right. But all he does is look for Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson got locked up.
No,
all he did
I won't say that. Kirk Cousins made it seem like he got locked up. I counted 3 touchdowns that Kirk just threw the ball straight to Darius Slay.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
It was very bad. The fade route he had,
that was horrible. That was horrible.
Justin had like 5 to 10 yards of work behind him between him and the back line. The one where he threw Slay, I think they were on like the 15 and he threw Slay the pick. Jamar was behind him again. All you gotta do is put it over Slay's head. He's gonna grab that. Like it was bad. Like it was genuinely a bad game.
Like, I'm not reading. It's a super impressive win for Philly, right? Jalen Hurts looked pretty good.
I agree.
Jalen Hurts looked pretty good throughout the game. Mm-hmm. I think people are overrating how good he was. I mean, the Eagles did only score 24 points. Like, let's not act like they went out there and dropped 35 on the Vikings.
They were a late touchdown away from being in trouble, honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we need to, pump the brakes a bit on the whole Jalen Hurts thing. The Eagles look like one of the better teams in the NFC. Right now, I would definitely give them the edge in the NFC East with their current record. Obviously, they're 2-0. They've yet to play any divisional opponents yet, so I want to see them against a divisional opponent before I just be like crown them the NFC East winners. But they're definitely in the driver's seat. That defense looks good. Darius Slay was a little nicked up coming off the field. You saw him like limping and stuff like that. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Just like a football injury real quick, whatever.
Little stinger.
Right. Just something small. So if you're a Philly fan, you should be excited. Definitely should be excited. I would keep your Super Bowl aspirations low right now. I don't think you guys beat Tampa Bay. I think it ends up just like it was last year when you guys played Tampa Bay.
Vikings again, honestly.
Right. So I think you should guys keep your expectations tempered a little bit. Jalen Hurts definitely looks good, but I am of the under the impression that he is yet to gone against an elite defense. I don't think the Giants are an elite. I mean, the Vikings are an elite defense. No. So if he's able to go out there and dominate an elite defense, then I will be more inclined to crown this Eagles team as how everyone is saying that they're like the best team in the NFC, which I think is just complete nonsense. Yeah,
I agree.
All right, cool. So moving on to our next thing. Obviously, we broke it down week 2. Currently, actually for week 3, the Steelers and Browns are playing. The Steelers got a 1-point lead, but the Browns are driving currently at 3rd and 3 with the Pittsburgh 38. So let's go ahead and jump into these week 3 games. With the first game being the Bills and the Dolphins. This is a massive game for the AFC East. Massive game for the AFC East. Massive game as far as like playoff implications. So give me you guys early score prediction and give me things to watch for in this game.
I have Bills winning 34-20. It's good. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how the Bills pass rush affects Tua, how fast Tua can, and then how the Bills pass rush affects Tua, and the offense that I keep forgetting their coach, McDaniel. No, not McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel. Yeah,
Mike McDaniel. Yeah, how McDaniel's game plans this week. I wonder if he's going to try to get the ball in Waddle and Hill's hand as quick as possible. And I'm interested to see how Dolphins defense performs as well.
Okay. What about you, man?
Yeah.
What you got?
For me, I think kind of like Devontae said, I think it's gonna be 35-21 the Bills. I truly just want to see the Dolphins defense. I mean, the Ravens don't have a elite wide receiver, a top 5, top 10, top 15 wide receiver. So I want to see how they fare against a top 5 wide receiver, arguably number 1, you can say, in Stephon Diggs, and arguably. I mean, it's saying it's arguably.
And Jefferson exists.
Hey, I'm not saying it's me who said.
I don't know,
I'm just
man.
saying.
Diggs is looking like
Diggs
the best
is
receiver right now.
No doubt, he's dumb. I just don't think
Diggs is him, but like I just want to see how their defense does against them, against a real solid offensive wide receivers group. And with also for the Dolphins wise, I want to see how Tua looks against well, besides last week, the Ravens had a terrible defense. Against an elite defense, top 5,
and
arguably. Yes, exactly. I want to see how that works for how Tua handles himself over that. So we'll see how this one plays out.
I got a similar score prediction to both of you. I think that the Bills win this game 38-24. I think it'll be a good game early on. I think Josh Allen is going to throw for another 5 touchdowns. I just think this Bills team is just too much for this Dolphins team right now. I think they're too experienced playing together, especially that secondary and their defense. And like you guys said, I'm very interested to see how Tua and this entire Dolphins team deals with the defense that the Bills are playing right now. Their pass rush and on the back end, their secondary. You got Micah Hyde, you got Jordan Poyer, you got Trey White, you got Elam. Right. To see how
Trey White's still out.
Yeah, Trey White's still out. But
to see they look good.
Right. They look very good. Big player to watch for me this week. I actually think Dawson Knox is gonna have a very good game. Mark Andrews. I think the Dolphins will do a decent job of taking Stephon Diggs away, especially in the deep passing game, because he's killed teams so far with like deep crossers and the deep post route. So I think the Dolphins will do a decent job of doing that. But I think that's going to open up the intermediate stuff for Dawson Knox. And I also think that Josh Allen rushes for 60+ yards this week. So I got Josh throwing for somewhere around 300 and rushing for 60+ yards this week. So I think it'll be a good, fun game. I think Tua will throw an early interception that gives the Bills more of an advantage. But you'll see good things from both teams. I think the Bills are just too much.
A divisional game.
Right. I think the Bills are just too much at this point. So moving on, so we got a clean Bills sweep in that game. So moving on to our next game, we got Cincinnati Bengals versus the New York Jets. What you got, Mace?
Man, if the Jets had a pass rush, I would pick the Jets. This one there was a couple games. There was like 2 games that made me go back and forth. This was one of them. I think the Bengals will get their first win of the season, and I do think it'll be ugly. I think it'll be a 3-point win, and I think it's going to be 24-21 because Flacco's look great so far. Well, not great, but pretty good. I would say pretty good. He's been looking pretty good. So, but if the Jets had a pass rush, I would definitely pick the Jets. But I think Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals edged their first one out off of a walk-off.
Would you have the score again?
24-21.
24-21. All right, cousin, what about you?
I have 28-14 Bengals. Nothing too major. I think with Jets not, like Mason said, having a premier pass rush, Joe Burrow gets some time to go through his reads, not force anything, not get touched a lot. Joe Mixon has a bounce back game. I think Higgins, Boyd, and Chase all go for 50+. 2 touchdowns from Chase.
Okay. Well, I don't agree. I got the Jets winning this game. And I think Joe Flacco is going to have another great week. I think Garrett Wilson is going to go for over 100 yards in this game.
Is looking good.
Oh, easy offensive rookie of the year so far. He's going to be one of the premier receivers in the NFL very, very soon. The guy's a monster. And I think the Jets win this game. Their secondary so far has looked pretty decent. I know Nick Chubb ran all over them last week. They're not a great run team, and what do you know? The Bengals aren't either. So, I think the Jets will win this game 21-17, and I think it will be full panic mode in Cincinnati. I already said previous to the season.
I think it already is panic mode.
I think it is as well. But they're flashing right now. But by next week they're blank. There's gonna be jobs on the line soon for this Bengals team. I truly believe that. You cannot go from the Super Bowl to this.
I think that's the reason it won't be jobs on the line. But it'll definitely be panic time though.
Right. But like I said, I think the Jets make this dirty and it'll be full panic time in Cincinnati, which is crazy coming from a team who won the AFC last year and was in the Super Bowl and could have won the Super Bowl if Joe Burrow had, I don't know, half a millisecond of time. So I think we talked about that game enough, though. Next game on the docket, we've got the Raiders versus the Titans. This is a must-win simply for the Raiders. Like, this is a must-win. So I'm going to start with you, cuz. Score prediction, couple things to look out for.
27-19 Raiders. You look to get Davante Adams more involved, and you got to get that run game going. I don't think Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry has another mid game as he's been having these first two. Agenda's looking right. But yeah, you got to see Adams get involved, and you got to see that run game get moving for Oakland.
Okay. Mace, what you got for me, man?
I got this one, 31-17 to the Raiders. I think this is the game where Derek Carr clicks with everybody. I think both Adams and Waller will both have 100-plus yard games, and I believe Derek Carr will have 3 passing touchdowns, and I do think he'll have a rushing one.
Okay. All right.
So I think it's Derek Carr's bounce back.
100% agree. I got the Raiders in this game, 38-20 over the Titans. Big thing for me to watch out for, I think the Raiders' offense is going to explode. I think Davante Adams is going to go for over 150 for 2 touchdowns. And I think Hunter Renfrow is going to score 2 touchdowns in the game as well. The big thing for me, I think this is the week where Malik Willis will play extended time. I think the Titans are going to realize we have nothing to lose by playing. We're going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL all season, and they're going to have nothing to lose. So I think you see Malik Willis come in this game, and I think you see fans clamoring for Malik Willis to come in this game. Agreed?
I agree. Yeah, I can see that.
All right, cool. We got a clean Raiders sweep in that game. So far, we got 2 clean sweeps in games. Bills, Dolphins, we all got the Bills. Raiders, Titans, we all got the Raiders. Saints, our next game, we got Saints versus Panthers. Mace, give me your score prediction. Big things to know.
I think this is going to be 24-17 to the Saints. I think this will be it's going to be a typical division match. I don't think there's going to be nothing too crazy, too exciting going on. I think Baker, he has the ball to go tie the game, and unfortunately becomes Baker Mayfield and either throws a pick or fumbles and gives up the game.
Who do you trust more? Just general question. Who would you trust more at the end of the game right now, Jameis or Baker?
Jameis.
That's so crazy, bro.
Yeah,
that's so crazy, bro. That's so crazy, bro. Because you'll get Jameis in the fourth quarter against the Falcons, and then you'll get Jameis against the Bucks. It's like, it's just nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not. You don't know what you're gonna get from that guy. I'll go real quick. So the Saints versus Panthers game, I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I think the Panthers are really, really, really gonna struggle to score against the Saints offense. Yeah. And like I predicted before the season started, the Panthers are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. And what do you know? In the power rankings, guess who's number 32? The Panthers. They suck. So I got the Saints winning this game 21-10. I actually think they lean. Michael Thomas has 2 touchdowns in this game. I think Jameis also rushes for a touchdown in this game. I think the Saints defense forces 2 turnovers. Baker Mayfield looks terrible again. But I do think Christian McCaffrey has a decent game, though. So, hey, Panthers fans, look out for that. But you're going to lose the game. That's pretty much it for me, man. 21-10 Saints.
Is Alvin Kamara playing? Anybody know? Is he still hurt? Question.
I can see.
I didn't see his name come up or anything on any injury list.
I have Saints winning 24-21 by field goal in overtime. I think look out for this week. I don't think the Saints offense is not impressive, even with Thomas being back and they having Olave. I think McCaffrey has a big game. I think he scores all 3 touchdowns, and I think they go in overtime. Regardless, they obviously one of them don't score a touchdown, but I think Saints win by a field goal.
So As of right now, Kamara was limited in practice on Wednesday, but his status for the Saints Week 3 game is headed in the right direction. So it's pretty likely that he'll play. And that's going to keep my prediction the same as it is regardless. Yeah. So 21-10 Saints. So we got a clean sweep for the Saints. Oh, you picked the Panthers, cuz.
Yeah, he picked the Saints in overtime.
All right. Cool. So we got the Saints. All right. Not much to say about that game. I mean, those two teams are that's going to be a tough game to watch. Another game that I think is going to be very good is the Ravens versus the Patriots. Now, Mace, I'm going to save you for last. Cuz what do you have for this game? Big things to know, score predictions. You know,
I hate the Ravens, but I think this game is ugly. I think I have Ravens like 27-12. I don't like Mac Jones against the defense.
To 12.
I love Mac Jones. His skill is limited, and they don't have a run game. I mean, they don't have any receivers really to worry about on the outside.
Okay.
Run game is okay. I expect Ravens to get their act together, so I see 27-12 Ravens.
Quick note: this game is in Foxborough. Right. Patriots are hard to beat in Foxborough.
That they are.
So
I do think they lean more on a run. They got to get that run game. The Ravens got to get that run game more.
I'm going to take the Patriots in an upset, and I think their secondary is going to choke the Ravens receivers out this week.
I'm not mad at you, though.
And I think the Ravens are going to have a hard time running the ball on this Patriots defense. I think this is a typical Patriots-Ravens game. It's a slug-it-out physical battle. But I got the Patriots doing what they do in Foxborough. They win close games. And I got them winning another close game. I think Mac Jones makes a couple of big throws in the second half. And I got the Patriots winning this game 2017 on a walk-off field goal. All right, Mace. Good old Ravens fan. What you got, man?
That's how you feeling, cuz? Come on, man.
I mean, I gotta be honest.
I ain't mad at you. I think this is gonna get ugly, as Devontae said, for
I didn't say
the Patriots. Well, yeah, you did.
I mean, ugly game. It's gonna be an ugly game to watch for fans.
I think this is gonna be a 31-13 game. I think Lamar will have all 4 touchdowns, whether it's 4 passing, 3 passing, 1 rushing. I think Lamar is he's just gonna have to be Lamar to win this game. And I think the defense will come back stronger. And I just don't believe in Belichick's offense right now and the Patriots. They don't have nobody for Mac Jones, and they have a decent running game, but I just feel like this is not a match for the Ravens. I think they're gonna go in there and just dominate.
It's crazy because I can see both things. I can see how the Ravens would destroy the Patriots, but I could also see the scenario that I listed as well, like how the Patriots are
trust
able
me. I definitely can see your scenario of being a close game. I can 100% see that
happening. Cool. I think that's going to be one of the better games of the weekend. And it's going to be an interesting coaching battle between Harbaugh and Belichick.
Yep.
How Harbaugh's defense versus, Belichick's quote unquote offense. And we're going to see what Mac Jones can do. What do you know? My second favorite team in the NFL right now, Detroit Lions going up against the Vikings. This is in Minnesota. So Mace, who do you got?
Man, this is one of the harder ones to decide because I really as I said in the first episode, I have real high hopes for this Vikings team. But watching how invested the Lions are and how exciting it is to watch, I've been going back and forth with this decision, but I'm gonna go the Lions in the upset. And this is a divisional match. I just think the Lions are just gonna have something to prove, and they're just gonna want to shock everybody. I got this one 24-21.
Okay. Cuz, what about you?
I got Vikings bouncing back 29-20. I think it's gonna be a lot of yardage. A lot of yards in this game for both teams. I think Justin Jefferson goes for 150 again. I think Thielen has a good game as the number 2. I think he's going to go for like 60, 70 yards and a touchdown. Swift goes for 100 total, 150, maybe 150 total. And I think you start to see Hockenson get involved in the game.
Okay. Not mad at it. So, I obviously, because this is my second favorite team, I have the Lions winning this game. And I think the Lions are going to win this game 30-24. I think they're going to continue to put up points. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to break that. Forgot what the record is completely off the top of my head, but I think it's the most consecutive games with 8 catches or more. I think he's tied right now with I think it might be Antonio Brown, and there's 2 other receivers. I can't put it off the top of my head right now. But I think he's going to break that record. What I'm very interested. You said what, cuz?
Very impressive record.
Right. What I am very interested to see is we've all touted the Vikings as the team that's going to win the NFC North, right? That's the NFC North. This is going to be one of those games that show if this is going to be just another year where the Vikings are like, oh, they're good, they're talented, but they're not there yet, right? This Lions team is much better than what people predicted, except me, because I said they were going to be in pretty much every game. But, some people are just smarter than others. But this Lions team, this is going to be a big prove-it game for me personally for the Vikings to see if they can recover from losing the way that they lost. And I know the game was in Philadelphia, but this is a team. If the Vikings come out here and they bury the Lions, that's going to be a very positive look for Vikings fans going forward for how deep this team can possibly go, because these aren't the same Lions. They're not just a pushover team. So I'm very interested to see if they can recover. But we got another NFC battle, this time in the NFC East. Philadelphia versus Washington. Cuz, who you think wins this game and why?
I have Eagles. I think they win. I mean, Commanders' defense isn't
in Washington. In Washington, just
I know. Commanders' defense isn't really too good. I think they'll have trouble stopping Hurts on the ground and stopping Sanders on the ground. I think Devontae Smith has the game that he's accustomed to having. AJ also goes for 100 though. And I mean, it might be a high, like a 28-24 type game. I do like Commanders' offense a little bit. I like the weapons they have. I like their run game with Gibson. So I'll give them 28-24 Eagles.
Mace, what you got?
I think this is gonna get ugly real quick. I have the Eagles just continuing to prove dominance and 31-13 demolish of the Commanders defense. It's Jalen Hurts is gonna put on the show. I'll just say that.
I have what you have, but reverse. I think Carson Wentz is going to have one of those random Carson Wentz games where he just looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL and completely dominates the Eagles. I actually have the Commanders winning this game at home 30-13. I think the Washington Commanders put a beating on the Philadelphia Eagles, and they kind of slow the hype train. I think Jalen Hurts struggles. I think the Commanders' pass rush actually gets pressure this week. And I think Jalen Hurts finishes the game with 3 total turnovers.
I'd be lying if I said I couldn't see that happening.
Oh yeah, it's a division game, so I can definitely see that happening. But I
think Terry McLaurin goes off. I think he goes off. I think he has 125 plus receiving yards, and I think Curtis Samuel also goes off for like 90 to 100 as well. Yeah. So moving on. We got Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Indianapolis Colts. I think we all know, Ward.
Yeah.
I think without saying this is going to be a Chiefs sweep across the board. I just don't think the Colts have anything to compete with the Chiefs right now. The Chiefs look great. They just beat the Chargers in a tight game. And I don't see this Colts defense slowing the Chiefs down. And I don't see this Colts offense doing anything especially if Pittman and Kenny Moore are going to be out for a continual amount of time. Doing it, and Leonard and Buckner being out, I just don't see it. So I've got the Chiefs putting 41 points up, 42 points up. I think the Chiefs won this game 42-14. I think it's an absolute domination. I think Patrick Mahomes throws another 5 touchdowns.
Yes, we have the same exact prediction. It's at mine's 42-20, but it's this 5 touchdown game also. Same prediction.
I have Chiefs 40-20. I do think Colts will get their act together, but it won't be this week.
Better now. All right. Since that's pretty dull game, we got another game: the Houston Texans versus the Chicago Bears. We got 2 young quarterbacks in Davis Mills and Justin Fields going up against each other. Mace, who do you got in this game? Why?
In a surprise because these are 2 theoretically bad teams, but I think they both show some decency and promise performances. I got Justin Fields putting on a show, and I think the Bears pull it out on a 24-13 game. And Justin Fields also rushes for over 100.
Okay.
I have the Texans 20-14. I think Brandon Cooks go for 150.
That's bold. I have the Texans in this game as well. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. I think both defenses will keep both young quarterbacks in check, but I think Davis Mills delivers late game. He delivers a game-winning drive, and I think the Texans win this game 2017. They get up there, they get out of Chicago 2017, and which is crazy because it just means the AFC South is just completely wide open.
Yeah.
So moving on, we've pretty much hit on all the early games. So moving into our, mid games, we've got the Packers and the Buccaneers. Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady in Tampa. Who do you got and why? We're gonna start with you, cuz.
I had the Packers, and I thought they don't have no weapons on the outside against a very good Bucs defense. I think the Packers defense is very good, but they just have more weapons to play against them. I had the Bucs. It's gonna be a low scoring game because of their defenses, but I have the Bucs 18-14.
You think that Packers defense gonna hold Brady in them 18 points?
Yeah. No Mike Evans, no Godwin.
Okay. You're right. That is gonna play.
That's banged up.
Yep. Okay. All right. What you got, Mason?
I got this one a 34-24 Bucks win. I think Brady puts on a 4 touchdown game.
Wow.
Yes. Brady puts on a 4 touchdown game, and he makes wide receivers. I think Brashad Perryman is gonna have a 100+ yard game.
Okay, that's bold.
That's very bold.
All right. I have the Buccaneers winning 27-14. I think this week's MVP is going to be Scotty Miller. I think Scotty Miller is a guy that Brady has some chemistry with. I think the Buccaneers will actually use him, which is so crazy because I don't know why they just stopped using him. And I think Scotty Miller makes 2 to 3 big plays for the Buccaneers, extends the defense in some kind of fashion. I don't know if that's going to be, deep pass down the middle or deep cross, something like that. I think he makes 2 to 3 big plays this game. And I think the Buccaneers are going to dominate. Their defense is going to shut down those Packers receivers that I can't even name all 4 of them. And it's going to be a tough week. And I think the Green Bay Packers are going to have to answer some real tough questions, because if you're getting dominated by the Buccaneers without Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, can you really contend this year? I already know the answer. It's no, absolutely not. But even with Aaron Rodgers, you just need guys on the outside, and they just don't have them. So, Packers fans, brace yourself. I don't think this one is going to look good. I think it's really probably going to be a 27-7 game for most of the game, and then the Packers just score a touchdown late. So, yeah.
Garbage time.
Yep. I think we hopping into our next game. We got the Falcons versus Seahawks. This game is going to be in Seattle. Got Mariota versus Geno Smith. I guess I'll start now since I'm already talking. I think that the Falcons are going to win this game. I actually think the Falcons should have beat the Rams last week, which is a game that we should have talked about. But the Falcons had a very good chance to beat the Rams last week, another team that I'm concerned about. I got the Falcons winning this game 28-20. I think it'll be a pretty decent game. I do think that they get Kyle Pitts more involved. I think Kyle Pitts goes over 100 yards this game. And Drake London just continues to do what he does. I think he has 75 yards. Mariota protects the ball, and the Falcons get out of there with a dub. What you got, Cuz?
I also have Falcons. I have it 34-14. I also think they get Kyle Pitts involved. I think Cordero goes for 100 total yards and a touchdown. I think Mariota has like a 150-200 pass yard game with at least 75 rush yards, and Drake London has a good game with a touchdown.
You got me.
So I have the Falcons as well in a kind of like a slower game. I don't think there's too many points. I think it's gonna be 23-14, the Falcons. And I do agree. I think Mariota does protect the ball.
All right. Yeah, pretty. I think that game is going to be. I don't think it's going to be a well-watched game. Is this actually the Sunday nighter? No, this is just the
definitely
evening game.
Yeah,
I was about to say. The game that actually is in the Sunday night spot, we got the San Francisco 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo after we all know the Trey Lance injury. Wish him the best of luck in his recovery. Sadly, I do think the 49ers are a better team with Jimmy Garoppolo.
I do agree. I do.
Right now, which is sad. I mean, I don't want that to be the case, but they just look like a better team. He knows the playbook. He knows the receivers. Trey Lance was having some issues showing his youth, but, I mean, that's a part of having a young quarterback. And they're going up against Russell Wilson and the disappointing Denver Broncos so far. They've been very disappointing. So, Mace, give me your thoughts on this game.
Well, I do agree. I think Jimmy Garoppolo being their starter for the foreseeable future and then the rest of the season, I think it makes the 49ers Super Bowl contenders later down the line. Maybe not right now, but later on in the season, I think they'll prove themselves once again, and I think they could be Super Bowl contenders. Going along to the Denver side, y'all know how I feel about the Denver coach, the head coach. Last week, I think they should have lost. I think he's not a good head coach, and it's growing pains. It's his first NFL season as a head coach, so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, but he's gonna have to get some work done. But I do think the Broncos win this at home, and I think it's by 1 point. I have this 27-28 Broncos.
Okay. You got it, Cuz.
Is Kittle back this week?
He's questionable.
It's not gonna change my opinion. I have 49ers winning not a particularly high scoring game, like 21-14ish maybe. I think so what Jimmy's good at, he's very smart. He's a good distributor, and he fits 49ers perfect because they have a lot of players who can run with the ball. Get the ball in Devo's hand, get the ball in Ayuk's hand. If Kittle plays, get the ball in Kittle's hand, and you'll have a successful game, at least a successful regular season too. I think I have 49ers up. Their defense is good enough to give Broncos and Russell Wilson's third game some fits. So I have 49ers 21-14.
I'm pretty much along the same lines as you guys. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a tough physical game, and in games like that, I favor the 49ers. So I'm gonna take the 49ers to winning this game 21-20. Same thing as Mace. I got the 49ers in this game 21-20. On a mixed extra points by the Broncos. I think the Broncos are missing an extra point early, and it comes back to haunt them later on in the game. So 21-20. I think Jimmy Garoppolo has a Jimmy Garoppolo game. He doesn't do anything spectacularly well. He doesn't do anything spectacularly bad. And they're able to escape. Cool. And moving on to the last game of week 3.
Aquan, we missed the 4 o'clock game. The Jags and the Chargers.
Oh, Yes, a game everyone cares about. It's like, no, I'm joking. So I mean, since you brought it up, who you got winning the game?
The only reason I told you about it is because the Jaguars are my guilty pleasure team to watch outside of the Ravens, and I'm gonna go with the Jaguars winning this one. I'm gonna go. I believe in Trevor Lawrence, and I'm gonna go 24-21, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay. All right. So big question to the group, right?
Mm-hmm.
How big of an injury? How much do you think this whole Justin Herbert rib situation is going to affect him moving forward for the next couple of weeks?
I would like to see him first before I can't. It's so iffy. Like we don't see it a lot, so I want to see how he performs this week to give you a definitive answer on that.
All right. Okay.
I think kind of like Devontae said, I think he does need to perform first, but with the fractured rib and how serious that can be, I think that's the reason I have the Jaguars winning this one, because I think
a fractured rib is fractured
it's cartilage, right?
And I don't know.
Right. I couldn't tell you that either. That's why. But I think that's gonna limit Herbert. We saw when we were watching Thursday Night Football, we saw Herbert just like it was hurting to throw the ball,
right?
And that's why I have the Jacksonville Jaguars in this one, because I think if Herbert goes out there, he's not going to be 100%, and if he gets hit wrong and lands wrong, it could get bad for him. So that's why I have the Jacksonville Jaguars in this
one. Okay. I as well have the Jacksonville Jaguars winning this game. I think that Justin Herbert injury is going to show itself this week, and I think the Jaguars are going to try to put a lot of pressure on the Chargers, and I don't believe the Chargers are going to run the ball that well to make up for the fact that Justin Herbert's injured. I got the Jaguars winning this game 27-21. I think Trevor Lawrence has a decent game. I do think he throws an interception early, but he recovers, and the Jaguars just win this game down the stretch. If Justin Herbert was not injured, I would easily have the Chargers winning this game.
Yes, I agree with that.
This is a game that's tailor-made for the Chargers to win. But with the injury of Justin Herbert, I just don't see it. We also missed another 4 o'clock game.
Oh, did we?
The Rams.
I had the Chargers.
Oh, my fault, Kurt. Go ahead.
I had the Chargers winning 24-21. And I think I do agree with y'all. I don't think Justin Herbert has a game to the best of his potential. I think where they will succeed this week is running the ball. It might not be particularly well, but I think a lot of their runs are going to come from the short pass game, and we know Austin Ekeler is a great running back when it comes to that. If Keenan Allen plays, that's just going to help out their short game. I think Justin Herbert is still smart enough to know what throws to make and when throws not to make. But I have Chargers in a close one over Jags 24-21. I do also think Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa give Chargers a rough game, a young quarterback a rough game. But that's my pick.
All right, cool. I mean, I could definitely see that scenario happen where Ekeler, they're able to like throw a lot of dump offs and quick screens and stuff like that to get Ekeler involved, and you take some pressure off Justin Herbert having to throw the ball down the field. I just don't know, man. Rib injuries are funny, especially with it being on. I think it's on his throwing side as well, so he's not going to be able to generate. He's not going to be able to generate that same amount of like torque that he normally would to like really deliver those balls. I know he did in the Chiefs game, but his adrenaline is already running, right? He's had the opportunity now to sit on the injury and really feel the injury. So I don't think his body is going to respond the same way it did necessarily like it did in game. But moving on, 4 o'clock game, we also forgot the Rams versus the Cardinals. So I'll start this one off. I think the Rams are going to win this game. I think their pass rush is really going to cause, and I think their secondary is really going to cause the Cardinals problems. I don't think Kyler Murray is going to be able to just get loose and run around like he did last week against the Raiders. I think Matthew Stafford has one of those random games where Matthew Stafford dominates. I got the Rams in a blowout. I think it's going to be a bad game. I got the Rams winning this game 35-10. 35-10.
I'm in a similar boat. with you. I think it's gonna be an ugly game for the Cardinals, and I do think the Rams are gonna blow them out. I have this one 31-10.
What you got, Carlos?
I have Rams 35-20. I think Kyler Murray struggles without D-Hop in this game in particular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really think there's too much to be said. The Cardinals are just going to be outmanned in this game. Kyler Murray is spectacular, but that's only he can do. He can only do so much, and he's not consistent as well. So you'll get what you got in the first half against Oakland, and then you'll get what you got in the second half against Oakland in the same game. And I don't think that's just going to work against a Rams team with superior talent. Any predictions for Allen Robinson this week?
I mean, against a weaker Arizona secondary, I don't have any predictions, but I would like, and I think it's possible for him to go for like 70 and a touchdown.
Yeah, I think he'll at least have a touchdown.
They gotta give him the ball.
All right. And to close out week 3, we've got the Dallas Cowboys at New York in a whiteout game on Monday Night Football. So I'll start with you, cuz. Who you got winning that game and why?
I have us winning that game. So I don't like Giants offense has looked better than it did last year. But I will say they haven't played a defense to our capabilities. Saquon is not going to run the ball against us as well as he's been these first 2 weeks. And Daniel Jones isn't going to look – he definitely look better, but he's not going to look as good as he's been these first 2 weeks. Trayvon might get a pick this week. I don't think Saquon's going for 75. Micah gets 2 to 3 sacks. And it's just our offense, man. I'm worried. I'm still worried about our offense. I know Cooper Rush, a lot of people's high on him, but I still, we saw him 2 games going back to last year. So he got to show me some more before I really put some faith in him being a backup quarterback. But it's the Giants defense. We should be fine. I see like 20, 24, 14.
What you got, Mason?
I got Dallas in a blowout. The Giants hasn't, as Devontae said, seen a defense as effective and as great as yours. And I think that's going to get up to him. And I think Daniel Jones is going to make some big mistakes down the stretch. And Cooper Rush, I think, will throw for 250 and 3 touchdowns. I have this one 35 to 13, the Dallas Cowboys.
I have the Cowboys winning this game as well. I think the Dallas defense. I think our defense forces 2 plus turnovers in the game. I think Micah has a strip sack. I think the secondary gets an interception. I think we force another fumble. Whether it be from Daniel Jones, one of the others. I think Saquon struggles this week. I do think the offense is able to move the ball and capitalize on short fields that the defense provides. And I think Avonte Turpin has a big return this week. Not necessarily for a touchdown, but I think he has a big return this week to give the offense a boost. I think it's going to be a blowout on Monday night. And I think it's going to let teams know that, yes, Dak Prescott is out right now, but we're not a team that's just going to roll over, especially defensively. Right. So I think we're going to keep Saquon in check. I think Cooper Rush is going to do just enough, and I think the defense is going to carry us to another victory. So the Cowboys are winning this game 30-10. I think 30-10. Final score. All right. Cool. So continuing with some NFL talk, we're going to give you guys a quick predictions or like score predictions update to see who's in the lead right now. Then we're going to hop into our picks, our early season, like MVP, offensive player of the year, defensive rookie of the year, various picks. And then we're going to round it out with a little bit of baseball talk, talking about how Aaron Judge is quite clearly the MVP. And if you think otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. So currently right now, the standings as far as our picks goes, me and Devontae stand at both 18, 13, and 1. We're not going to count ties as wins or losses. We're just going to say they're ties. And we got our boy Mason rounding out the list at 16 and 15. So not that big of a difference so far. Not that big of a difference. It's pretty tight. We'll see how it develops as we go on throughout the year. Cool. So hopping into our early season predictions, I'm just going to run through my list and have you guys run through your list. And then Cuz you'll run through your list, and then we'll talk about it at the end. So Starting off the year, I had Mahomes as my MVP. I don't think I'm really going to change off of that. I still think there's a pathway for Mahomes to win MVP. I currently probably put Josh Allen as the MVP right now, the way that he's been playing and the way the Bills look. But I don't think Mahomes will be far behind him. Offensive Player of the Year, Jettis. I still think Justin Jefferson has a great chance to win Offensive Player of the Year. I think Stephon Diggs is making this claim to possibly be included in that conversation over Jettis, but I'd still stick with Jettis. I think the Vikings are going to score a ton of points and they're going to be great. Defensive Player of the Year, TJ Watt. I feel like I reserve the right to change this pick to Micah Parsons because TJ got hurt. And the way that TJ was looking, especially in that first game, I think he was well on his way. I mean, I know it's only one game, but I mean, the guy had 20-something sacks last year. I think he was well on his way to doing that again. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I had Aiden Hutchinson to start the year, not changing off of that. He just had 3 sacks in his last game. And I think as the year goes on and he gets his NFL strength up more and he adds more to his pass rush repertoire, he's going to be amazing. Pick that I completely got wrong, Rookie of the Year, Chris Olave. I thought the Saints were going to, Sean Payton was going to work him in more to the offense. That has not been, I mean, not Sean Payton, I'm tweaking. But I don't think the Saints have worked him into the offense correctly so far. The year is still young. He has a ton of potential. But Garrett Wilson is clearly the Rookie of the Year so far as on the offensive side. So that's one I definitely got wrong. Coach of the Year had Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell. I still think there's a pathway for him to win Coach of the Year. If the Vikings get their act together and they start winning games, I know I picked against them this week. I just feel like this is a trap game. But they're still going to be a very good team. I still have them winning that division. So I'm not really taking off of that. Currently, at the moment, I do not remember who I picked for Comeback Player of the Year, but I feel like it was Nick Bosa. And I still feel like there's a path.
It was Mike Thomas.
It was Mike Thomas. It was Mike Thomas. Yeah, it was Mike Thomas, which I still think there is a clear pathway for him to win Comeback Player of the Year. He's going to see a lot of throws from Jameis, the defenses as well. So it pretty much comes down to who can win the 50-50 ball. And I think that Mike Thomas is a little bit better than the defense at winning those. And then my bounce or breakout player of the year, bounce back player of the year, whatever you want to call it, is Juju Smith-Schuster. It's just not working so far in Kansas City. He's got 9 receptions for like 89 yards currently right now. He's lost 2 fumbles in the Cardinals game. It's just not working so far. So I'd probably switch my pick up for that. Honestly, at the moment, I do not have like anyone in mind for my breakout player of the year, but Juju's definitely not the pick. So pretty much my list is pretty much the same, just with a few various tweaks to it. What about yours, Mace?
My MVP was Pat Mahomes. I mean, still sticking with it. Pat's just doing Pat. Offensive player of the year, I did pick Derrick Henry. Obviously terrible pick. I thought they rely on him more, but just the Titans are the Titans. I would definitely go with Stephon Diggs now, as he's him and destroying defensive coordinators. Defensive player of the year, I'm sticking with Parsons. Parsons is just that guy right now. He can do it all: pass rush, cover, everything. He's just that guy. Comeback player of the year, offensive rookie of the year, I did pick Chris Olave. And like Quan said, I did think they were going to iterate him more, but it's only week 2, so I'm going to stick with that and hope to see him get more touches because I do think he's a good player. Defensive rookie of the year, I did pick Jordan Davis. That was like a shocker pick, but, it's week 2, and I do think the Eagles have a good defense, so I'm going to stick with that and see how he does, even though I do think Aiden Hutchinson will run away with it sooner rather than later. Comeback player of the year, I did pick Derrick Henry, but now that I thought about it more, I'm thinking like Derrick Henry came back at the end of the season. I don't know if he's can be considered comeback player of the year. But
significant amount of time.
Retracting a pick is crazy work.
Right. But let's switch that to Mike Thomas because it is Mike Thomas's to lose. Coach of the year, I picked Dan Campbell, and I'm going to stick with that. I think Dan Campbell and the Lions but I think they have a good chance to win 9 to 10 games and make the Lions bring back culture and winning drive to the lines.
What do you mean?
What's
back?
The last one? A breakout player?
Yeah. What do you mean back?
Well, winning back to the Lions. Like, yeah, they haven't been relevant. I don't know how long. But comeback player. Breakout player of the year. I picked Mecole Hardman, and because I have Mahomes as MVP, I do think Mecole Hardman will have a 1,000-yard season, as I did predict that. So I'm gonna stick with that one.
Okay. For my updated award winner predictions, MVP, I'm still sticking with Mahomes. Offensive Player of the Year, I'm still sticking with Jefferson, but Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, and DeAndre Swift could challenge that award. I'm sticking with Micah, and it's even more clear cut with TJ being out for the time that he's going to be out. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I had Garrett Wilson. That pick is looking pretty lovely right now. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I had Aiden. I do hear that Kayvon could be making a return soon, so depending on how he performs when he gets back, could challenge him for that award. Comeback Player of the Year, I had CMC. He's looking at like 200 scrimmage yards and a touchdown. That award is still very winnable for him, so still going to stick with that. Coach of the Year, I had Brandon Staley. We seen 2 good weeks from the Chargers. We saw a tight loss to the Chiefs, but it was a good game. I did have them losing that division in the tiebreaker anyway, so I still have Brandon Staley, Coach of the Year. Breakout Player of the Year, I had Javonte. He's at 193 scrimmage yards, 0 touchdowns. I'm not gonna say it's definitely still winnable for him, but I do feel like Christian Kirk might be the number 1 option for that player, for that award right
now. Yeah, I pretty much what I hear is a lot. Everybody's pretty much sticking to their picks. Some look worse than others. I still think Dan Campbell for Coach of the Year is crazy, but it's not looking as crazy as the year goes on. So we'll come back to these around midseason to see if we'll do this. Actually, we'll do this every 2 weeks to see, give updates and how we feel about these players and all that. All right, now to hop into the next topic. 0-2 teams in the NFL right now. We're gonna do this way. We're going to go with who right now is the most disappointing 0-2 team and who right now is the 0-2 team that you have the most faith that can turn their season around. Since I asked the questions, I guess I'll start. So for me personally, obviously the Bengals are the most disappointing 0-2 team. Your first game, you go up against Mitch Trubisky, and I know the Steelers have an elite defense, but that's a game you have to win. The 2 quarterbacks you've lost to so far have been Mitch Trubisky and Cooper Rush. That's unacceptable. That's just unacceptable. Especially the Bengals.
Hearing it sounds so crazy.
Right. especially because of the way that the Steelers-Bengals game played out. You had opportunities to win that game.
Ample.
You were behind the 8 ball a lot in the Cowboys game. Joe Burrow was just under pressure, whatever. But you had opportunities to win that Steelers game. So being 0-2 is just – and I do not expect the Bengals to turn it around. I don't think they do. I honestly don't think that they do. And like I said, I have them losing this week, and I think it's going to be a big time for them to look in the mirror and really evaluate what they have going forward. And then the team that I have the most faith turning it around. So we counted the Colts as an 0-2 team. And the reason I counted the Colts as an 0-2 team, even though I know that they tied with the Texans, is because that is a game they should have won. The Colts were supposed to be a better team than the Houston Texans. But I think the Raiders are the team that I'm going to go with the most ability to turn it around. I just trust Derek Carr too much. He's too experienced. He's too veteran. I think him and Devontae Adams will figure it out, and they'll be able to turn it around. Turn it around to what extent? I don't know. But I do think they'll finish the year over 500, which I can't say for the rest of the 0-2 teams, such as the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Titans. Not happening. And possibly the Colts. Not happening. What about you, Cuz? Who you got? Most disappointing team with the most potential.
Most disappointing is the Bengals. And It's literally for the same reasons you said, so I'm not going to get into it. The team that I could see turn it around the most is the Colts, because my second option was the Raiders. I do think they finished with a fairly decent to good record, but they play in the tougher division. I still think Colts wins this division because of the level of competition they have in the division. But yeah, Colts is my pick. I still think they finish in the division lead.
Most disappointing, we all said it. It's the Bengals. I'm not gonna harp on it. Quan said it the best. Definitely the Bengals is the most disappointing. And I'm also gonna go with Quan again, and the Raiders. I do think will turn it around.
Bro, get you.
The Raiders will get their act back, and I do think the Raiders will be a playoff team 100%. It's just a matter of when will Devontae Adams and Derek Carr stay consistent. That's all they got to get to. Give them consistency.
100%. 100%. I mean, the Bengals just are a train wreck, man. You can't. Winning starts in the trenches in the NFL. That's where it starts. Dominant offensive line, dominant defensive line. That is the proven formula to win in the NFL. Obviously, you need guys with skill positions, but it starts there. And they don't have either. And that's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the issue this season. So that's going to wrap up our NFL talk for this week. So now we're going to jump into a little bit of – sorry, I had a little bit of mic issues currently. Hello? Y'all can hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we go.
All right, cool. So now we're going to jump into a little bit of baseball talk. Really for Mason. Tell these people that Aaron Judge is clearly the MVP.
I am sick and I am tired of hearing anything about Ohtani being MVP. And again, this is coming from a Red Sox fan, but Aaron Judge is on a historic rise right now. This guy is unbelievable. He probably will win the Triple Crown, which outside of Cabrera,
came out of nowhere.
Huh?
Triple Crown came out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. But the last person besides Miguel happened in 56, I think.
Wow.
Like it's been a half century before Miguel Cabrera was a half century ago. He's about to do something historic. And for the people saying, oh, Ohtani deserves to be in the conversation or to win it because he has 10 wins as a pitcher and he has 30-plus home runs, yada, yada. Listen, if that's how we're going to hold Ohtani in our standards, that means every year Ohtani pitches 10 wins and has over 30 homers. He deserves to be in the MVP category. Come on, man. Like, it's not right. And I heard people say, oh, they should share the MVP award. Hell no. It's happened one time before, but we're talking about a Triple Crown winner here. This dude is going to break the AL because he will. Judge is going to break the AL home run all-time record. Judge deserves this MVP, and I think he deserves it by unanimous. I'm sorry. I think Ohtani's a hell of a player, a great player, but last year he was the best player in the league last year, no doubt, and that's why he won the MVP. This year, Aaron Judge is undoubtedly, without question, the best player in the league. And for anybody to say that Aaron Judge does not deserve to win the MVP or win it unanimously, there's something seriously wrong with you. This guy does it all. He's that guy. He's going to win it, and he better be a unanimous, because if not, the MLB, y'all need to check your standards, because that would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to list off all the categories that Aaron Judge leads the majors in. And you tell me that this guy shouldn't win the MVP. He leads the major leagues in runs, home runs, RBIs, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, total bases, WAR, extra base, which is wins above replacement, and extra base hits. Ohtani is so valuable as a pitcher and a DH. And I understand that the way that WAR is calculated kind of takes away slightly from Ohtani because it doesn't value the DH as much as it does like a positional player. I understand that, but Judge is still more valuable by that metric. Yes. I just don't even think it's a. I don't even think it's a. It's not even a question. The guy is going to break the home run record, like the home run record for non-juiced players.
Yes.
Like easily. I don't get it. I don't get it. So like you said,
unanimous has to be.
Aaron Judge does not win MVP. It's not going to be unanimous because there's going to be people. Ben Verlander is one of the big guys, and he thinks that Ohtani is more about. CC Sabathia is coming up there. You got all these people, so he's not. Judge is not going to win. He's not going to win.
I get why people are going to vote for Ohtani, but if you seriously sit here and you watch baseball and you know the sport of baseball, to watch a freaking Triple Crown winner, it's like, I mean, I get it. It's a new era. People are bigger. They're stronger. I understand it. We might see a Triple Crown winner now once every 10 years or whatever. It might happen more frequently than once every half century or once every century. But the fact that this dude is still about to do it, and the fact that we're talking about him possibly sharing, if not losing, the MVP is unfreaking believable. Like, it shouldn't even be a question. That we should be questioning, when are we going to celebrate this man's accomplishment? That's what we should be questioning, not if he's going to win or not, because this is straight BS. Straight BS.
I mean, it is. And you made a great point. What this precedent will set if Aaron Judge does not win the MVP in one of the greatest offensive seasons we have ever seen. Like, Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown. He didn't win it like this. Like, the way that Judge is leading in all these categories, he did not win it like this, right? The precedent is set is, like you said, if Ohtani hits 30 home runs, he gets 10 wins as a pitcher, he will win the MVP every year. And to me, that's BS. LeBron James was the best player in the league for many, 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 many years. When Steph Curry broke the 3-point record, he won MVP. And LeBron's one of the most unique players that the game of basketball has ever seen. He doesn't even win MVP every year. So there's no way I'm just giving, and I understand Ohtani is a special player. He absolutely is. Babe Ruth didn't win MVP every year. You guys understand that. He did not win the MVP award every single year. So this whole notion that Ohtani, you just have to give it. No, you don't. You don't. When a guy's doing what Aaron Judge is doing, and by the way, he's an elite defensive player as well.
Yes, he's very underrated when it comes to defense. People think that he's a great hitter. No, he's not only a great hitter, but in the field, that man can do it almost. Not almost. That man does it all in the field. He has a glove, and that man has an arm.
Yeah, he threw somebody. He had an outfield assist tonight. Yeah. He's a right fielder, a 6'7" right fielder who is playing center field now. Come on, man. The guy's the MVP. There's no discussion to it. If you think otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to tell
you. Not only that, though, but when we're talking about MVPs, you also have to look at how the team is. Like,
the guy was our team. I am a Yankees fan. I watch how anemic this lineup is without Aaron Judge.
Yeah, if Aaron Judge is not in the they're just. I'm sorry, no. If
we would have lost the division lead already.
Exactly. If it's not for Aaron Judge, the Yankees are not leading the division, and they're not World Series contenders without Aaron Judge. And because without Ohtani, the freaking Angels are worse. Yes, they still suck. They still suck.
So it's like, how valuable really is Ohtani? I get it. Yes, Aaron has better players.
Exactly.
But they still suck. So if Ohtani was so valuable, the Angels would win more. They would. Yep. They would just win more. And I understand baseball doesn't work that way, but that's the way people try to explain it in Ohtani's favor.
That's exactly.
Is that, he's that valuable. No, that's not how it works.
Yes, exactly. And
then I think the NL MVP is pretty much locked up. Paul Goldschmidt's going to win MVP. I don't think it's a debate. It shouldn't be a debate. Mookie's got really hot lately. Mookie has gotten very hot lately, but Paul Goldschmidt's been hot all year. He was on Triple Crown watch for a long time too. So him and Schwarber are kind of battling for that home run lead in the NL. So Yeah, Aaron Judge, your MVP. It is what it is. You guys, You guys have anything else before we go ahead and get up out of here?
No, y'all.
No, man.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, this is.
Wait, hold up. What about the home run prediction for Aaron Judge? How many? Do you think?
I think he's gonna end up with 67.
67.
Yeah, that's a little high.
He's at 60 right now, right?
Yeah,
60 right now. There's 15 games left.
I think it's 14 after today. I think it's 14. There might be. I don't know how many the Yankees have. The Yankees might have 15, but I think it's 14.
I think it's 15.
Okay.
I think Aaron Judge. I don't think 7 in 15 games is that unbelievable. Because once he breaks the record, I don't think teams are gonna change the way that they pitch to him. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're gonna just start walking him more and more to some crazy extent once he breaks the record. So, because he walked 3 times tonight. But once he breaks it, which inevitably is going to happen, I think he'll have another multi-home run game. So that'll give him 2 home runs in a game. I don't think 7 in 15 games is that unbelievable. Especially how he's been hitting. Dude's on Triple Crown watch. He can't do anything but hit the ball right now. And he's strong enough, big enough to hit those out. So I got 67. What you got, cuz?
I have 63.
Okay. What you got, me?
I got 64, but I didn't know you guys had 15. So it's 64, 65 around. Basically 64, 65.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for us this week. Got another episode coming to y'all real soon. Some more NBA talk. We're gonna hop into the whole Boston Celtics scandal, which I think is hilarious, honestly. We're gonna hop into some more basketball talks. We're gonna do some more predictions, some tier lists. So we got a lot coming to y'all soon, man. But that's pretty much gonna do it from the DMD cast, man. Continue watching us. Comment. If you guys messing with the content, you know what I'm saying. Comment down below. Give us some more ideas. Give us this thing that y'all want to see. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, we just gonna make this a all inclusive community. You know what I'm saying? So if you ever want to come and top it up with us, just you know what I'm saying, shoot us an email if we got an email set up, which we will soon, or shoot us a DM or something like that, and we'll see what we can do. Yeah, that's it, man. Catch y'all boys in the next episode.
Peace.
Stay blessed.